And the very last report for the pre-launch session would be made by Marina Sergeeva, and she represents the company ScanEx.
Good afternoon. Once again, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. 10 minutes to make sure we don't interfere with the lunchtime. The subject of this conference is quite interesting. We're talking about advances in mapping, remote sensing, etc. But I'd like to put focus on the fact that if we don't have qualified staff, if we don't have knowledge and skills, we won't have any achievements and advances. For Russia, it's a relevant and rather topical problem. This is a table provided to us by the former rector of MIGAIC, showing the shortage of human resources, and we see that the enrollment of students is unable to satisfy the needs of the industry. There is a 50% shortage. So how can we address this? We need to affect the whole education system in all levels, starting from school, then moving to vocational schools and to the industry level. So let me share with you our own experience. I mean, ScanEx. How do we provide training to our employees, and how do we build capacity of our staff? You can see a slide showing that, well, just yesterday I had to add MIGAIC to this list, the latest edition, where we created a space data receiving center. We have 26 such centers in universities of Russia. This is the launch of one such center in Arkhangelsk. We can see a representative of Spot Image, Bruno Bertolini, who participated in the unveiling ceremony. If we look at all the centers distributed in Russia, we can say that the coverage, there is a good coverage with such centers. And if we provided it with the coverage area of each station, we will see that most of Russian territory will be captured. All these centers are well equipped. Every time I speak about it at conferences, I keep saying that already at the university level, they have this address. Such a high level of coverage provided us with understanding that some type of consortium is needed, and we created one. It's called UniGeo. The first sitting of the consortium took place in Saratov State University, launching the UniGeo project. The chair was nominated Mr. Sadovnichi. There is the board of directors that includes directors of key universities and the expert council that prepares and submits for review suggestions and recommendations. What is the rationale behind creating the UniGeo consortium? There is a number of tasks and goals, but the main idea is to mobilize resources, consolidate resources to reduce cost for obtaining licenses, for example, to interact with the industry in terms of implementing and putting into practice what was designed. I'm missing a lot of stuff here, but there are a lot of goals and objectives. So how does the center look at a university level? It's the receiver that can receive data from a variety of satellites, all types of software that can work automatically. It's done for archiving purposes, for visualization purposes. We have a geoportal. It gets updated on a continual basis, and you can upload a lot of material there, different layers. So the unity of the technology helps universities address three tasks: education, research, and production, and sales. By monitoring territories of the region, they can feed local authorities with data. We hear a lot of news saying that the university should become the point of growth of innovative economy in the region. That's what our news shows say. So I encourage you to work like that. Until recently, since the Russian constellation of satellites is poorly represented, the universities have to rely on data from foreign satellites, starting from IRS-B 0.6 meter from Israel, then RadarSat-1, RadarSat-2. Licenses are expensive, so the idea was to consolidate efforts to make purchase of a license more affordable. So finally, the Russian Space Agency has decided to provide data to universities from Russian satellite Meteor. ScanEx has received the data and all the necessary materials to run a test to later provide the information to universities. Universities hope that this is just the first step to be followed by ICONOS and ResursDK that will feed universities with data for research and educational purposes. Some achievements. This is a young center at MGU. It's 1 year old. They can collect data from Terra, Aqua, Spot 4, RadarSat-1, Formasat-2. What they did well, and it's not always the case. Here they had 4 field faculties that joined forces, and they used it together. This is the result. Take a look at how many grant-based projects have been implemented and commercial projects using this data. This is an example of another university, of another center in Samara, which is something we can be proud of, even though we are a commercial company and they are the state university. Some of the remote sensing data programs were purchased by them. They could afford it. They have good contacts with the local government, doing a lot of projects. So they provided me with a list of achievements. The common digital cartographic basis of Samara region, GIS of Forest Fund. They're now working on water use GIS. And this is something I got just yesterday from Perm State University. Their GIS center was opened 10 years ago. I remember 5 years ago I visited them and they didn't have the space monitoring center. And their director said that they cannot find even 5 or 6 good students who would take this up. But once this center became operationalized this year and last year, this year in particular, the grade that students, school leavers needed to score 244 points to enter the university. And now there is a whole department that trains specialists in mapping and geoinformatics. 5 years ago, they couldn't even find 5 students, but now there is competition is quite high. Recently, there was a meeting of UniGeo consortium. We took part in it. We provided information on UniGeo Geo portal. If you press here, something will pop up showing the centers. 3 colors indicate the unity of education and production and research. And the idea is to upload metadata to cover as much territory of Russia as possible and then to exchange data. This is how the thought process is set up. This is for participants of UniGeo consortium. This is for UniGeo social network, forum, chatting, you know. News. Each university provides its own profile. We even considered that we need to start some joint projects. For starters, it could be a fire-related project where students and us could interactively draw sites of illegal logging or fires, and all of that could be interactive with engagement of the civil society. So it's a versatile, multidimensional project. And very briefly, I just have to mention that school children need to be motivated to go to university to engage in geoinformatics. So we're setting up such centers at a school level as well. What Mr. Zaichko mentioned, that they requested that we open such a service center at a school level. We got it open. The center was established. We submitted ALISA, hardware and software complex, and we also provided ScanMagic program to process space images. We are very proud of our school in Yakutia, where we conduct annual campaign. This is images from the latest event. You see the regular picture and the one taken from space. It can be used differently. This is the project done by students, school children, I mean. You know, they're very active. Some of the kids were observing the Moscow River getting freezed up, and they spotted an area where the water didn't freeze up. So they brought their teacher to the place and tried to identify what caused the non-freezing of the area. Well, that's basically all I wanted to share with you regarding the university level. Thank you, a wonderful presentation. But since we are really pressed for time, let's not ask Marina, but rather ask Mr. Zaichko if he is here. Are we going to have Canopus at university level? No reply. I will provide the proceedings and minutes of GEO consortium. So the universities ask us to go to Roscosmos, Russian Space Agency, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Economic Development, and the State Duma with this request. Godspeed to you. That's it, colleagues. Thanks.